Alright, today is November the 2nd, 2015. We're watching the rainbow infrared loop, the Northeast Pacific map. And tonight in Los Angeles, we had 1/10 of an inch of rain from about 6 p.m. to about 8 p.m. So that's good. We got 1/10 of an inch here in the foothills. In other areas of California, up in San Jose, it was pouring. Someone we know up there reported that it was raining very, very hard up there in San Jose, just south of the Bay Area. And so the LA area just caught the tail end of this front passing through. And the reason this storm didn't bring a whole lot of rain to the Southern California area is because of this heat they've got applied on here. This is a transmitter, a HAARP transmitter that's put a lot of heat on the core of this spinning low. We can see that right here. So they've really throttled this thing back as it moves over California. Now, what will probably happen as this moves to the east and gets out over Nevada and Utah is that they will take the transmitter off of this core, and we will watch that thing rebuild and dump some serious rain throughout the middle section of the country, and then this thing will end up going probably out towards the east coast, where it will be a very large storm once again. But over California, they tend to keep the heat on these, and we're not getting much rain. But we do have a second system out here. This is a gale. It's been identified as a gale. And what's happening here is that we've got thunderstorms down here. Some of that moisture is moving up over Hawaii and into the tail of this spinning low, which is actually feeding this low. But there is a HAARP transmitter right here on this core as well. So this thing, this storm here, this system is being throttled back. We're seeing that here with all this high pressure, just like this system. But some of this moisture is blending and merging with this jet stream flow right here, which is going to be bending down and then right back up and into Los Angeles. We can go ahead and take a look at the jet stream here right now. And we see that this flow is moving along and comes way down and dips down, and then it comes right back up into Southern California and some of Central California. So that's what's happening with jet stream. Let's go back to the big map again, and we see what's happening here. We've got a moisture field here that is actually merging with this jet stream flow. So there is a chance that some of this will wind down, but the problem is that we've got this HAARP transmitter here that's putting a lot of very, very high pressure over this entire region, and you can see the water vapor here is just dissipating right around where the pen tip is. Okay, so that's probably going to stay there. This high pressure will probably stay in place for the next couple of days. In fact, on TV, that's what they were reporting, is that this low will move off to the east, and then this high pressure will move in and warm things up. All right, so we do have a shot of rain here. If this catches the jet stream, we've got a shot of rain if they can turn this transmitter off. All right, now the other thing happening here is that we've got thunderstorms down here that are being dealt with. It looks like some of these are being blown apart. We can go ahead and take a look at these right here. This one right here, for instance, that's a pretty good blast pattern. The entire core just implodes, and there's really nothing left. We can see the icicles all the way around the edge of that storm from the pressure, the high pressure. The heat generates this shock wave, which causes this blast pattern. All right, and they're probably doing this with microwave. Very powerful, coherent wave microwaves. A maser, M-A-S-E-R, maser. That preceded the laser technology, and that is coherent microwave energy. Just like a laser, only it's in the microwave band. And so they're probably doing something like that to get these results. And over here we see the same thing. The storm over here, it looks like it's being imploded. Now earlier today there was a much better example of this happening, but I was not able to make a video. They were blasting some storms apart down in this area. But over here, this was just in the last few hours, and we can see some of the violent activity, especially right here, right there, right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in the infrared mode. We can see some violent activity right here, and a hole in the core opens up right here. That's in all likelihood where that was targeted by a microwave right there. Okay, so they are getting rid of these thunderstorms because the moisture field from these systems are moving right up and feeding into this gale right up here, going right up and winding right into that low pressure and helping to strengthen that storm, or rather that low pressure system, that gale. All right. Now let's look at this in the visible light mode. We can see some detail over here. There is some fluorescent overlay, but if we stop the video here, the sequence, and we just step through it, you can actually see. Let's go back here. Right here and here. Let's keep an eye on that area. See a dimple right there. And then we see the overlays. Right there. Let's go back a couple of frames. As these thunderstorms bubble up, they are hit right there. It looks like a pockmark right there. And there's another frame that's showing a dimple pockmark. And then we have the daylight and night interval. That's what this is. Okay. All right. So that's what these targets look like. We see the little pockmark, and then sometimes we'll actually get a shock wave out of that. Tonight's example is not that good over here. I'm just manually scrolling through these frames to look for a shock wave, but we're not getting much of. Okay, so anyhow, that's basically what we're looking for, is these dimples. And then going back to the water vapor loop, we can see the core implode after the fact, after it's hit. But this is a better example over here. We've got a really good blast pattern. We see the core diminish on the color chart over here. And so that's what they're doing, and then that will prevent all this weather from moving up and getting involved with that low pressure system right here over north of Hawaii. All right. Okay, so let's go back here and look at what's happening here on the west coast. This is the water vapor loop for the western U.S. You can see that low pressure that's moving right over California. We had very low pressure today. It was around, up in the foothills, it was 29.90, which is pretty low for where we are. We're at just about 2,000 feet. I have a calibrated barometer for the area. Actually, I have a couple of other barometers, and they all track fairly accurately, even though they're not. Two of them are not calibrated for the altitude, but nonetheless, they do track very predictably along with the calibrated one. So it's interesting to watch how the pressure operates during these weather systems. Now, let's take a look over here. We have the front here of this low pressure gale that's over Hawaii down here on the corner. And we can see a lot of chemtrail activity right all through this front. Take a look here. They are spraying. Take a look right in this area right here. You get to see there are planes out there spraying. It's pretty clear to see. All right. And here's the jet stream flow right down here. It's going to come back and wrap right around, but they're going to keep this high, this HAARP transmitter creating high pressure right here, and that's going to evaporate this flow, and that's what we're seeing right here. We can see the flow is greatly diminished right here offshore. All right, let's go ahead and look at this in the, this is the infrared loop. And we can see the intensity of the rain as it wraps around. There's not much left. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the surface analysis map. And this is the surface pressure analysis, and we see a huge high pressure here. And they've indicated a developing storm up by the Aleutian Islands in the North Pacific here. Developing storm. So we'll keep an eye on that. We've got a developing gale right here, and also a gale right here. This is the developing gale that just moved right over California, but they had chemtrails over the top of the area here in our region, so that's why we didn't get a lot of rain. Plus that HAARP transmitter is slowing it down. Okay, and then we have we've got this cold front here, and that's moving away from this high. This is a 1040 millibar high. That's pretty high pressure right here, and that's going to help keep things dry in California, and also keep this weather to the north, and probably keep this thing away, some of it. We'll have to keep an eye, though. This is going to move up and catch some of the jet stream, and we'll have to watch what happens. So that's pretty much it. We can look at the pressure map. This is the sea level pressure again, different map. This is sea level pressure right here. Same thing, big, huge high. And we've got a low indicated here, and a low right out where that gale is. That's where that is. And then we have another low right up here. And the 500 millibar is totally different. You see the trough of low pressure here, and another low right out here, and the 300, and we have a low right down here indicated as well off of Baja. Now the 300 looks pretty similar too. Now we may get some rain tomorrow. It is possible, but I'm going to stick with a minimal amount of rain forecast. We did get a tenth. That's better than nothing, but we should have gotten a lot more rain from this, but thanks to these HAARP transmitters, they are stopping the rain, and that's pretty obvious. That and the chemtrails, they're generating high pressure, and you can see that right here. They've got heat, and that is evaporating all of this moisture. We can see that very clearly. Otherwise, this thing would be dumping a lot of rain. And of course, once this moves out over Nevada and into Utah, out to the east, you watch this thing will rebuild. We'll talk about this system again tomorrow and the next day, and we'll watch this thing rebuild as it moves to the east, because they'll keep the HAARP transmitter out on the west coast to deal with everything that's going on out here. They won't follow this as it goes out to the east. They've got some other transmitters that deal with that out on the other side of the country. So we've watched that happen many times. This will move away, and then it'll rebuild, and they'll catch it on the other side and steer it with some equipment they have out on the other side of the country. I think that a lot of this is satellite based. Anyhow, okay, so that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead and do another update tomorrow.